So, when it comes to looking for signs of commitment phobia in your man, the real secret is to look for whether he is willing to be emotionally invested in you and the relationship. Does he care about your happiness? Does he care about the people and the animals that you care about? Does he care about what makes you laugh and cry? Does he care about your health? And does he invest emotional, physical, and mental energy in making sure that you are happy in the relationship?
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you own based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. So I'm scrolling on my YouTube feed the other day and I come across this video talking about men not wanting to commit or having commitment phobia or something like that, right? So I clicked on it for a second and once I listened to it for a minute, you know, I cut it off. But you know how YouTube is. Once you click on a video, then you're gonna get an assortment of videos just like it, right? So after I clicked on one or two of these other videos and watched for a few seconds, I came to the conclusion that most single women have absolutely no idea what's going on inside of the minds of single men, right? In addition to that, a young sister commented the other day, she says, I know that your videos are for men, but you're so enlightening. Thank you for that, sister. I think a lot of us women would love to have brotherly advice from you. So today, I want to talk about the misunderstood mindset of single men. Let's talk about it. Now let me be clear, right? When I say single men, I'm talking about a very specific brother, right? See, I'm not talking about, you know, the young brothers between 18 and 25, you know, they just got out of high school and, you know, some of those guys go to college and they're sowing their wild oats, or some of those guys go to the military and they're all over the place in Japan and Korea and they're wilding out a little bit. Or the guys that just got out of school and they just, you know, got a little job and they're trying to find themselves as men, right? I'm not talking about this brother. Nor am I talking about, you know, the grown-ass man that's still living in his mom's basement that's playing, you know, PlayStation or watching reruns of Cheers or Sanford and Son all day, right? I'm not talking about this brother either. I'm specifically talking about, you know, the grown man, you know, around 30 or above that has a solid occupation, that's been in, you know, solid relationships in his life, but for some reason feels like him being single is the way for him to go, right? These are the brothers that most sisters are referring to when they say, where the good men at? See, many people look at this brother and automatically assume that this is the type of man that's in the streets, you know, 6 days a week, clubbing, partying, right? But they're wrong. Many people look at this brother and assume that he's out in the streets trying to sleep with every single woman in the city. But they couldn't be further from the truth. You know, I just talked about in a video a couple of days ago that a man's greatest asset is his peace. So sisters, you know, knowing that, when you look at the single man, going forward, you have to look at him from a completely different vantage point. Now, the first thing that's misunderstood when it comes to the mindsets of single man is understanding his time versus his energy, right? And this is what I mean. Now, anybody that knows me knows that my grandmother is by far the most, you know, the greatest person that ever walked the planet, in my opinion, right? But before it got to that point, back when I was a little kid, around 6, 7 years old, I can remember, man, getting out of school on a Friday and my parents would tell me, you know, hey, we're going to your grandmother's house, you know, on Sunday for dinner. And man, I couldn't stand going out there, right? So what would happen is, Friday I'm outside playing, football with my friends. Saturday we playing basketball at the basketball court. But my energy was low just because I knew on Sunday I had an obligation of going to my grandmother's house, right? Now, this is how a lot of guys view relationships. It's not about the time spent in a relationship. It's more about the energy drained from a relationship, right? And this is what I mean, because what I'm not saying is that men are drained just from being in committed scenarios. This is what I'm saying. The far majority of men that are single are content with life. In other words, they've created a bubble around themselves and now they're happy. Now this is what these men know. They're fully aware that the majority of single women are unhappy. Now, of course, you can get on Instagram and Facebook and see the girls taking girls trips or going out on the weekends and having drinks. But the single man is fully aware that she's really unhappy being alone. Now, this is what happens, right? So you have a single man and you have, a single woman and they get together. So you'll have these women get with these guys and all of a sudden they're just happy and the world is blissful and life is good. But what's really taking place is they're not happy. What they're actually doing is just feeding off of the happiness of this man. And this is what these single guys have no energy for, right? Again, it's not about time. It's about the energy associated with the obligation. So ladies, knowing this, don't be so quick to say that, these men are scared to commit or these men are just trying to sleep with every woman in the street. Just know that man's primary focus is to protect his energy. I mean, if he's not protecting his energy, then at some point he's depleted of his essence and he can't maintain the life that he's living, right? So going forward, ladies, just know that if you're gonna try to shoot your shot at a man or enter a man's life or whatever, make sure your energy is on point. Now, the second thing that's misunderstood when it comes to the mindsets of single men is when it comes to, relationships and roles, right? And this is what I mean. Like, we all saw our parents, the way they were growing up, or we're aware of the way that our grandparents were, when it came to roles in the household, right? But we all have to admit that right now it's different. We all live in a world now where men and women are on an equal playing field. Matter of fact, it's almost like one gender is being promoted. Like let's just wipe out the term man and woman and let's just have one gender. That's the world we live in now, right? So you have to understand how the single man in 2020 is viewing this. The way the single man is looking at it is if we're both on the same level field, if we both can get the same jobs, we both have the same degrees and all this stuff, if we're equal, then why should I be responsible for sponsoring the life of a grown ass woman? You know what I'm saying? It's like if we're equal, then we need to be equal, and that's one of the challenges of a single man. I talked about this in a video I did covering one of the Nick Cannon interviews a while back. Where Nick Cannon was saying, I don't want to be responsible for a woman's happiness, in this day and age. And factor that in, with women wanting the Birkin bags and women wanting the high price clothing and all this stuff, and at the same time wanting a man pay all the bills. It causes dilemma in a man's mind, right? And the thing is, yes, there are some women that are still traditional and submissive to a man and want to play that old school role. But what the single man is looking at now, he has to just fall back on the collective consciousness of all women. And that's saying that, I want to be treated just like you. Like I want to be a man. I was just chopping it up amongst friends. This has been a while back, maybe 7-8 months ago. And we were talking about, women being with men and men wanting to go half on the bills and all that stuff, right? And one of the sisters in the circle was saying, well, if a man doesn't really want to, fit the bills, then I'll just move out and do my own thing. Like I can do that by myself. And the thing is, it's odd to me. It's odd to me that women will say, you know what? Well, if my man ain't paying the bills, then I'll just move out and have my own life and pay my own bills. But because it's odd to me, because women are assuming that men aren't saying that same thing. In other words, if a man has a woman in his life and they're both making, X amount of $1,000 per year, he's saying, well, I can hold down this fort alone. So just like the woman is saying, I can do it by myself, men in 2020 are saying the same thing. So ladies, I'm not saying this should alter the way you go into your relationships. I'm just saying that you should be aware of the way that the mindset of the man is working. So ladies, in a lot of the scenarios, when you're dealing with men, that are single, you're gonna, in some cases, you're gonna have to just pick a poison. Either you want to be that woman that's striving in corporate America, doing that and be in a relationship, or you want to be that woman that puts the household first, catering to your man, making sure, the home is good. You're going to have to pick one. But because it's getting to the point where guys aren't willing to deal with a woman that wants to be, the next success story, to neglect the home, but still get this treatment as if she is. You know what I'm saying? So pick your poison. Now, this last thing, when it comes to what's misunderstood about the mindset of the single man, it comes down to his, I'll call it, his instinctive freedom, if that's even a word, right? But this is what I mean. I can remember, man, when I was a little kid and all my partners in the hood, man, we would just wake up on a Saturday morning as soon as the sun came up, and we would just start walking in the woods, man. And we would be in the woods all day. We might just be, picking up sticks. We might be turning over rocks. We might be playing with frogs. We might be throwing rocks in a pond. You just didn't know. But the thing is, we had the freedom to just roam the world all day. And we would stay out there all day, sun come down, and we would go home, right? Now, as men get older, that translates into, the man, getting off work and on the weekend saying, you know what, babe, I'm going fishing. Or babe, I'm going hunting. I'm going to play basketball with the boys. Or I'm going to the domino party, right? The thing is, that instinctive part of man to just, explore the world and to be able to just kind of roam the land as he will, that thing in man is being suppressed every day to the point now where it's normal for a woman, for a man to be looked at in a bad way if he wants to get out and do something else, right? And I'm telling you, that is one of the greatest traps that man can see, in the future of being in a relationship. And that's why a lot of guys stay single. I'm telling you, there's no greater feeling than to just, be able to, wake up on a Saturday morning and shoot to the coast or shoot overseas. I wouldn't even go that far. There's no greater feeling for a man to just be able to wake up on a Saturday morning and for me, for example, to go downtown Dallas and walk around, try new restaurants, kind of sit at the park, look at people, and just kind of roam and do what I want. And, have no agenda, just to roam. There's no greater feeling than that. And I'm telling you, most guys avoid relationships, but because what's misunderstood in his mind is that he just wants to do what's instinctive to him, instinctual to him, whatever the word is, right? And then a lot of guys fall into this happy life, happy wife routine, right? Or you hear guys that have been in long-term relationships say things like my wife was happy as long as I was miserable. In other words, there are some women that as soon as their husbands or boyfriends or whatever get some kind of satisfaction or joy in life, they come down crashing. They're dream killers, right? Yesterday I was at what's the name of the place? I was at Fuzzy's Taco, right? Little taco joint here. And I'm sitting there, man, and on the big screen TV, they had the Cowboy game. I believe Cowboys played the Vikings yesterday. Good game, man. I think Cowboys pulled that thing off. Anyway, toward the end of the game, man, it was about 5 or 6 minutes left. I see this cat come in with his family, man. Big dude. He had to be about 6'3", 6'4", just lean. He looked like an athlete, right? He's about 27 years old. So he sits down with his family. You know, he sits on the side to look at the big screen to watch the game. And his wife, man, she looked like a headache, right? She was like, no, I got the kids sitting on that side. You know, you can sit on this side with me. And I was just like, dang, brother wanted to watch the game. His kids, beautiful children. He had 3 kids and an infant. His kids weren't old enough to even understand what was going on the television, right? So I'm sitting there observing the whole scenario, man. They weren't even talking to each other. She looked miserable. He looked miserable. And every once in a while, what he would do was, you know, look over his shoulder at the game, try to see what was going on. But what I picked up from this guy is he wasn't really looking at the game to kind of see who was winning or see what was going on. It was almost like he was just kind of getting a glimpse of a life that he could have been living. And I don't know how I picked it up. I don't know if it was his body language. I don't know if it was his contact. I don't know if it was the times he was looking at the television. But it was almost like he was just thinking, like, if I would have made different decisions, then I could have been there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you guys, or I'm telling you ladies rather, a lot of times when you're seeing single guys, again, it has nothing to do with commitment, has nothing to do with any of that nonsense. A lot of guys are just focused on their dreams and their goals. And they're aware that the majority of women are going to subdue these dreams and goals. And this is why. Because a lot of women, you know, for some reason, or still, well, I know the reason. It's reason because they've been taught from a young age. A lot of women are still under the mindset that, you know, this dollhouse type mentality that, you know, this Ken and Barbie, like, I'm going to grow old, I'm going to find a man, and his ultimate goal in my life is going to be to make me happy. And I'm telling you, the thing is, those days are gone, and I think a lot of women aren't aware that those days are gone, because this is ultimately what's misunderstood in the minds of men, right? See, we're aware that our fathers and our grandfathers, their number one priority had to be, you know what, when I get of age, my thing is I need to find a wife, I need to build a house, I need to build a fence, I need to get a dog, I need to have children. That was their mindset. But those days are gone. Now a man can be a teenager, he can grow up to his 20s, and he can look at life as something that he can conquer on his own. No longer are the days of having a wife or even having kids a necessity. And the thing is, this is one of the primary things that's misunderstood by women. So women, ladies, if you want the advice from me, my thing is your approach to a man. If you want a man in your life, you need to be fully aware of that. You need to be aware that having a woman is not a priority in a man's life. You need to be aware that having a woman in a man's life is extra. It's to complement the life he already has. It's no longer about showering a woman with gifts and putting her on her pedestal like our fathers and our grandfathers. Those days are gone.
Does he care about your happiness? Does he care about the people and the animals that you care about? Does he care about what makes you laugh and cry? Does he care about your health? And does he invest emotional, physical, and mental energy in making sure that you are happy in the relationship?